Hey everybody, it's Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. Today is Tuesday, November 17th, I'm pretty sure. This is Flosstube number 69. And I have a lot to show you guys, like usual, but I don't know, I'm going to try to keep this short-ish, just because I have a lot I need to get done today. So, not because I don't have a lot to show you guys. Here's Lincoln. So I have a few finishes. I have a few works in progress, and I have some stash acquisition slash haul slash purchases, and I think that's it. That's it. I do also have some book talk at the end, and yes, I am aware that I totally forgot to talk about Dracula in the last video after I said I would. It was an ebook. I didn't have the physical book in front of me, and I missed it on my list. So I will talk about it today. So I know some of you wanted to know my thoughts on Dracula, so that'll be at the end of the video. That way, if you're not interested in book talk, you don't have to wade through that to get to the stitching. It'll be after all the stitching. So, okay, so I have a few finishes. So I went through all of my active works in progress, my whips, a couple weeks ago. I went through and just actually like every so many months, I just kind of go through them and see if there's anything that maybe I should get rid of. If there's something that I can, definitively say I'm not going to stitch this ever, like I need to let this go. I just do that every like 3 or 4 months. Just, just keeping the stash under control. So, anyway, so I did that, and I pulled out a few things that I felt like I just needed to finish. Like they were close to a finish. I just need to get them done. So I pulled out 3 things, and I have finished 2 of them, and I am almost finished with the 3rd. So, those were just kind of like focus pieces. So the first one was, the Primitive Hair, Lizzie Borden. And this is what the pattern looks like. And I stitched this on 32 count linen, and I dyed this linen myself. So this is how it turned out when I dyed it, but I did stitch this with all the called for DMC. And all 3 of I have 3 finishes, but none of the 3 are fully finished. They're just, I just finished them. I haven't had a chance to think about how I'm going to fully finish them. So this one actually went super fast once I sat down and finished it. I think when I picked it up this go round, I had all of the top done, and I believe I had the words done to about here. I didn't have the handkerchief or Lizzie done, and then I didn't have the border. So I basically did like the whole bottom half. But it went really fast. It really did. So it felt good to just kind of get that off of my whip list. The other project that I picked to focus on was Wild Violet Witch House in Salem, and that looks like this. This one took a little longer. Still not bad, but I think I thought it was going to go a lot faster than it did. It took a little bit of time, but I did also get this one done. And this is stitched on a 25 count, so I stitched it 1 over 1. So 1 strand of thread over 1 hole on 25 count. So that made it itty bitty teeny. It's equivalent to stitching something on 50 count linen. And so this is an Under the Sea Fabrics ornament pack, and I might have had the name of it at some point, but I've lost it. So I apologize. I can't remember what I want to say it was something like Zephyrus or something. I could totally be making that up. But yeah, look, it's so cute though, but look, it's so teeny tiny. It's like the littlest little thing. And I just stitched it with the 3 called for DMC colors. And I'm very happy with it. I love it, but it was a total pain to stitch. But I think that was my fault for doing it 1 over 1 on 25 count, not anything to do with the pattern. And it got a little tedious doing these rows upon rows on the houses. The stitching Salem was fast and that was fun. I think just, I don't know, stitching straight lines is hard for me. I just get a little not into it. So, okay, so those were my 2 of my 3, and then my 3rd is not a finish, but I'll just go ahead and show you now because I'm talking about it. So this is my next, like, basically like focus on a finish, that I'm going to stitch this until it's done. So the 3 I pulled were things I thought I could finish within, you know, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 days, without putting it back. Like I was gonna, once I started stitching on it, I was finishing it. And so the one I'm doing right now is the Witchy Stitcher Ouija board. And this will not be put away until it is finished. Next video, this will be finished. You will see it. And it actually stitches really, really, really fast. So this is 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself like a long time ago. I do love how my dye turned out. And here is where I'm at on this. So all I have to do is just the bottom, like the bottom third, which maybe looks like a lot, but it's really not. It's, I just have to do the numbers basically, and then the couple of little symbols down here. And the border actually goes really fast, believe it or not. And I don't generally like doing borders, and this border looks like it could be a little bit time consuming, but it's really not. It actually goes really quick now that I've figured out like a rhythm to it. So that is actually a work in progress, but it will be a finish soon. But my 3rd actual finish was this pattern from Imkissa Creations, and it is called Witch Shoes. And she just released this right before Halloween, and it's just absolutely adorable. I wanted to stitch it for Halloween and I didn't, so, you know, whatever. But, oh, I started this on the 13th. I started this on Friday the 13th for my Stitch Halloween 13 that I do with Amy, my friend Amy. And, so even though it was after Halloween, I still wanted to do something Halloweenish. And, this one was just calling to me the most out of all of the options. Like, this was the one that was calling to me. And it was actually really, really quick to stitch. So I started it Friday and I finished it Saturday. And if you stitch this on a 32 count linen, it will fit in a 5x7 photo frame. So I did pick a 32 count linen. This is Witchelt Copper Penny. I was going to do Dracula's Confession on this, but I made like a last minute fabric change. But this was almost Dracula's Confession. So I stitched it with not the called for colors. It calls for DMC 310. I used 3371. I think black would have been fine, but I went with that dark brown because my fabric is this warm brown. And then for the socks, you know, she kind of tells you just like pick whatever, like use up like random bits you have left over. But I just grabbed some DMC. So super cute, really fun to stitch, really fast. I was surprised actually how quick it went. And for, you know, a good size finish, but didn't take much time at all. And I think it's so cute, and I have a really cute finishing idea for that. I don't know if I'll have that done by the next video, but I have an idea, so we'll see. So, okay, so now I'll go back to some works in progress. So you saw my Ouija board, and then I also started another Wild Violet cross-stitch pattern. I do love Wild Violet. This was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine in the fall issue for 2020. And this is called Cauldron Thread Organizer Pillow. And it includes the pattern and instructions on how to finish it. And I am stitching this on it's some old fabric from Stitchy Box, I think. I think it was Velvet Sky by Fiberlicious, but that may not be accurate. But I think so. And so I'm doing it's this beautiful like blurple color. And I'm doing some of the called for, and then some stuff I subbed, but it's in the spirit, like in the same color. So actually all of the gold down here is called for, but my cauldron color is something I dyed myself. I think it calls for Weeks Onyx. And this is just hand dyed floss by me. So, it's actually stitching really fast, even though this cauldron is full coverage. It's no joke, but it is coming together really quick. I think I still have, I'm looking at it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I easily have 1,500 stitches left in this cauldron. But once you get kind of the border done, then it's just fill in. So like I'm coming up around here, and then once I get around here, then this is all fill in, so it should go, you know, be pretty mindless. It's a little difficult to see though on this fabric, so I have to have like good lighting. So it's mindless fill in, but I'm limited to when I can mindlessly fill it in, is what I was getting at there. I did work on my friendship sampler that I'm doing with my friend Amy. So Amy has a Flosstube and an Instagram, and I believe her name is the same on both, and it's Gables Stitcher. Gables as in the House of Seven Gables, where Amy, fun fact, Amy used to be a tour guide at the House of Seven Gables in Salem, Massachusetts. So one day when this pandemic is over, which whenever, that'll probably be at least a year. Anyway, one day I'm going back to Salem, but I'm going with Amy, and she's going to show me the sights because she knows everything about Salem. And we're going to go to House of Seven Gables, and I'm going to make her give me a personal private tour. So anyway, this is something we work on we try to work on this together 1 or 2 days of the month. In some months we don't do so well on that, but that ultimately, you know, we're still pushing to work on it 1 or 2 days a month so that we'll see, you know, eventually we'll see progress. So this is R&R Reproductions Designer's Motif Sampler. It's a super, super old chart. It's actually a hand-drawn chart. It's from 1997, so it's really, really pretty old. And this is, I'm just kind of zooming in on this terrible Polaroid picture, but just so you can get an idea of how it looks. And I am stitching mine on 36 count Maritime White by Lakeside Linens, vintage Maritime White. And I have been held up on these over 1 words on the verse, but I'm almost through. So last month I did the first line of the 4 lines, and it was pretty awful. So I was really, really dreading it. And this month I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get that verse done, and then I don't ever have to worry about it again. And I almost got it done. I got really close, but I got enough done that I'm not scared to pick it up this month when we work on it. So I just have like half of the 4th line left to do. So I'm playing a very tight margin game on this. I have about a 1-inch margin. And I'm loving the way it's looking, but I'm going to be really excited to be done with this over one verse. These are all rice stitches, this whole row. Rice stitches, and then the green in the middle is, I think it's Algerian eyelets. Those took a while, but were actually quite fun to do. So let me read you the verse. It's so tiny, I don't know if you can read it. And this is why we decided, you know, the sampler is called, what was it called? Friendship. No, I made that up. We call it the Friendship Sampler. The sampler is called Designer's Motif Sampler, but the verse is about friendship, and that's why I call it the Friendship Sampler when I talk about it with Amy. How much love, I can't read, oh my gosh. Let me start over. How much to be prized and esteemed is a friend, on whom we may always with safety depend. Our joys, when extended, will always increase. I haven't stitched the last line, so let me look at it. This is such a mess. Okay, our joys when extended will always increase, and grief when divided and griefs when divided are hushed into peace. Good night. Okay. I should have that memorized better because it took me forever to stitch that over one. All right, so I'm really excited though because I'm going to get that last line of verse done, and then I get to get into some fun stuff. So the next thing is that house. All right, what else did we work on? Ooh, I don't even know, like, I'm just gonna, we're just gonna grab whatever. Okay, it snowed. We got a little snow here. It's 66 degrees today, so, you know, the weather is all over the place, but 2 weeks ago or so, we got some snow. And so I got out my snow day project, and my snow day project, now that I finished Snow Queen, is Mirabilia Santa's Magic. And I have to be honest, I was really not looking forward to getting him out because last time I worked on him and I showed him in my last video, I think I told you guys, like, I was really not having fun with him at all. He is super, super confetti heavy, which I knew. I did know that going in. But really, really confetti heavy. So you can't just like get a color and just kind of get going and just zone out. It's just like constantly changing colors, constantly counting to make sure, you know, you're not missing something or that you're not off on your stitches. So he takes a lot of concentration, and then he has tons of Krynic, tons. And I was struggling with the Krynic when I talked about him in the last video. And so I was really not looking forward to getting him out. And I'm glad I made him the snow day project because that makes me actually get him out. Like when it snows, I have to go get him out. And I think if that wasn't the case, I would probably have started this, and this would be a whip that never gets pulled out again because I would not want to work on him because, you know, I don't want to say that he's not fun. It's just that it's a lot of work. So that's how I was feeling. But I have good news. I'm feeling better. This second session with my Santa, I changed my needle for my Krynic and it went so much better, made a huge difference, light year difference. So he was much, much more enjoyable to stitch on this time. And so I know it's probably not going to look like a lot going on for you guys, but I do feel like actually I got a ton done. So here is where I'm at. This was a kit that I found at my thrift store, my local craft thrift store. So it was a kit that came with all of the floss, the Krynic, the beads, the whisper thread, and it came with the fabric. So I'm assuming it's the called for, which is, you know what? I don't know what the color is. Oh, there it is. 32 count desert sand linen by Witchy. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is. It's a really beautiful gold. So I added this session. I did all of this champagne Krynic like right here. And then like all of this DMC over here and some DMC up in here too. But I feel like I got like quite a bit done. But he's a long haul project. And now would be a good time to tell you guys, because it's going to be a while before I get to Santa's face. I am down, let me look. I'm right in here right now. So I've got to get all through all this beard to get up to Santa's face. But I will be changing Santa's skin tone. So Santa will be black if we ever get to his face. And I just wanted to just kind of, I think I've talked about this before, but I love Mirabilia charts, and I stitch a lot of Mirabilia charts. But once you realize that Mirabilia charts are all very pale white women, or fairies or mermaids, like, but they're all like, they're not just white, they're pale, pale, pale white. And once you see that, it's like you can't unsee it. There is, I know someone's gonna say in the comments, no, there's that one though. There's the one where she's playing like the violin and she's Asian. Yeah, okay, there's one. And she's still like a creamy lily white, questionably probably Asian, like it's not super obvious. And that's it. Like, there are no women of color in Mirabilia charts. And I didn't mean to like go on this rant, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, like, once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it's really disappointing. Like, I don't, and I'm not like talking badly about Nora Corbett, the designer for Mirabilia, because I'm guessing it's not really her. I'm thinking it, I mean, it could be, but I'm thinking it's maybe more about her distributors and her contracts, and maybe they tell her like white women are going to sell better. I'm not sure, because I do follow Nora Corbett on Instagram, and she sometimes shows her art, her paintings, her drawings, and she does feature women of color in her art. So I'm not sure why they are not featured in her cross stitch patterns. But what I am doing to make myself, I guess, feel a little bit better about it is, whenever I can, I am converting my Mirabilias to women of color, or in this case, Santa to a man of color, because I want to see more diversity in cross stitch. And until the patterns are there for us, I'm gonna have to do it myself, I guess. There are patterns where they are charted as people of color, and if you'd like to see some of those, there's a hashtag on Instagram that features some of those beautiful patterns. There is actually two hashtags, but they're usually used together. So one is the diversity and inclusion Sal, and the other is I'm totally drawing a blank. Representation Matters Sal. So check those out on Instagram if you want to see some patterns that do feature people of color, or conversions to people of color. And I'm sorry this became a kind of long little side rant, but I just want to throw that out there. If you are stitching your Mirabilias as charted, no judgment, good for you. I have stitched Mirabilias as charted, so I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad about what they're stitching. I'm not. my personal preference moving forward is to include more diversity in my cross stitch and to see a little bit. I just find it much more interesting. So all of that to say, if I ever get to Santa's face, Santa's going to be black. Okay. So, I had another new start. I started Satsuma Street Antonio. This is a chart that I would probably not have ever bought and stitched, but not because there's anything wrong with it. I just don't think it was really on my radar until my friend Matt, who is on Flosstube and Instagram as MBC Stitcher, he stitched I think the spring version of this. So Satsuma Street has done all 4 seasons. This is the autumn. I think he did the spring, and it was so pretty that it kind of got me like looking again. And then Helen D, who's on Flosstube as Helen D and on Instagram as East Coast Crafter, she actually stitched Otoño, and I was like, okay, fine, I gotta do it. It looks so good. So I am stitching this on a 30 count linen that I hand-dyed myself. And I got 2 friends to join in. So Scott Stitches in Spain on Instagram and Flosstube. Scott's new to Flosstube. You should definitely go check him out. He's fabulous. So Scott's stitching this, and then my friend Noah Stitches on Instagram and Flosstube is also stitching this. Here's how far I got. I'm using all the called for threads. I was trying to say threads and flosses at the same time. I'm using all the called for DMC variations and plain old DMC. And I love how it's turning out. I'm not sure. I think that's maybe pretty accurate on the linen. But when I zoomed in, I feel like I'm losing some of the gold. It's a very beautiful gold tone. So that was a start. Actually really, really fun to stitch. And stitching pretty quickly. Look at this little squirrel. I love it. And then I think I have 2 more. Yeah. Okay. So my project that I'm taking to work for my lunchtime stitching is a Mill Hill Come Stitch. And this one is stitching up really, really, really fast. So I'm pretty sure this will be a finish next time I see you guys. Look, it's so little. So all I have to do down here is beads. All I have to do on here is backstitch the words, and then I still need to stitch the bird and do the beads on top for the bird, but it's going really, really fast. So I actually have very little actual stitching left, and then I'll be able to start doing all of the backstitching, of which there is a ton, and then I will be able to do the beads. So look at the words I have to backstitch. That's not going to be super fun. And then I still have to stitch the bird. But the bottom is ready for beads. Okay, and then my last work in progress. I am stitching, I could not resist the Autumn Lane Stitchery Dark Queen of the Sea stitch along. Now this is going to last, I believe, until October next year. It's a long one. I'm sorry, I'm playing with this because I need to cover up part of her. So 3 parts have come out and I am caught up on all 3. So that should tell you a lot because I never keep up with stitch alongs despite my best intentions. I never do. And this one is no joke. Like, this stitch along is a lot of work, but I have kept up with it because I love how it is looking so much. So for part 3 of the Dark Queen, well, here, first let me show you, because I didn't print out part 3 because it was not safe for work. So I couldn't print it, but so I had to stitch from my tablet. But here's part 1 and 2. So part 1 was the fish, and then part 2 was the body forming for our Dark Queen. And so you can kind of see this like shadowy outline of where we're going here. And there's a lot down here. So this looks like it's going to be some intense stitching down there at the bottom. But you can see like some like kind of hints of things around her. And so anyway, so I had this done, and then part 3 came out. And for part 3, they moved up to her chest, and there were 2 options. So there was one where she was covered up, but still very risque. And then there was one where she is totally topless nude. And that's the one I stitched. But don't freak out. She is covered up. So you are not going to see anything crazy right now. This is the 32 count Under the Sea fabric that Leslie dyed specially for this stitch along. And here she is. So this was a ton of stitching, but like I said, I couldn't put her down. She's so fun. So like, but like her arms, there's a lot of confetti in here. It took a while, but it was great. I was having a blast. I have some magnets covering her up. She's wearing a itsy bitsy teeny weeny pink polka dot bikini. And yeah, so I had to because I honestly I was so blown away that the designers, Erin and Cassandra at Autumn Lane, I was just blown away that they went for it, that they did it. Like, I could not believe it. And apparently they did it because Leslie, Under the Sea Fabrics, requested this to be. But I'm still like just kind of gobsmacked that they were like brave enough to go there. And so I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm stitching that. Apparently there's going to be a few other like choose your own adventures, but I'm guessing they'll be more like PG rated. And if you are just dying to see what she looks like uncensored, there is a photo on my Instagram if you want to go check it out. My Instagram is Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, like all one word run together. And the first picture looks like this, and then you can swipe right and you can see the uncovered picture. So if you want to see what it looks like, it's on my Instagram. I'm super excited for the next part. I'm having such a blast with this one. So it comes out, each part is going to come out on the 1st of the month. So December 1st, we'll get the next part. I'm really excited to see what it is. I don't know if we're going to go up or if we're going to go back down, like, not sure. But I really think, and I know some of you are laughing because I've said this many times before, but I really do think I'm going to keep up with this one. At least I hope so. So I'm caught up for now. We'll see. All right, so that's all the stitching that I've completed, but I do have some purchases to show you guys. So somebody on Instagram, and I apologize because I don't remember who it was now on it. It's like totally escaping me. Somebody on Instagram posted a finish of this pattern, and it's by Calico Confectionery on Etsy, and it's Bah Humbug, and I absolutely loved it. And I asked them where they got it, and they directed me to Calico Confectionery so I could purchase it. And then I also grabbed a second pattern while I was there because I loved this too. This one is called Wicked. So grab those from Etsy. And then I got from my girl Abby, Top Knot Stitcher. I had to pre-order the new Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews is her design name. But the person is Liz Matthews, and she is a goddess, and everything she designs is flawless and beautiful and perfect. And I want to stitch almost everything that she puts out. But this one was like jaw on the floor. Oh my God. And I know I'm not alone in that, because I know several of you also had the same reaction of like, oh, I need that right now. So this is Quaker Snowflakes, and it is so good. It's so good. It's so pretty. I don't know. I actually haven't decided. I might do this version. It's so pretty. I don't know. I don't know yet. I need to look at floss and kind of figure it out. But this pattern is just absolutely incredible. So I pre-ordered this from Top Knot Stitcher, and then she sent it to me like the second it came in. And then I also got Liz's Third Day of Christmas. And I think I'm all in now. Like she's only released up to day 3, but she's going to do all 12, and I think I'm going to do all 12. And I am going to do the Christmas tree versions just to make them a little more manageable, and I'm doing them on 40 count, so they'll be real little. I'm not sure how little. Oh yes, I am. On 40 count, they're about 6 inches by 6 1/8 inch by 7 1/4 inch. So, yeah, I haven't started any of them. I have the first one kitted up and ready to go. But, someday I'll be stitching all of them. But honestly, they don't seem to be that much stitching, because I have the first one kitted up and I really like looked at the pattern, and it looks very manageable. It doesn't look too crazy. And then while I was there, I grabbed some Lady Dot Creates ribbon, hand-dyed ribbon in the color Vintage. Nothing in mind for that. It just looked like something I might need someday. So that was my order from Top Knot. And then my friend Jennifer, you know her as the Whistle Stop Stitcher, and she has been designing. I want to say her patterns came out over the summer. Like it was right around the time that I started to release a few designs as well. And it's kind of funny because Jennifer and I both started doing floss tubes at the same time too. And we were like, we connected over that in the beginning. And then now we're both like starting to do some designing, and I don't know. It's like we're such kindred spirits, and like I love everything she stitches, and she usually tells me she loves everything I stitch, and I don't know. She's lovely. Someday I want to go to the Whistle Stop retreat, but I want Jennifer to come like participate with the retreat, not host it. But you know, maybe next year. Not this year, or anytime soon. But anyway, okay, all that to say, my friend Jennifer, Whistle Stop Stitcher, released a new trio. And this one is the Adventure Triplets. And she sent these to me. I would have bought them, but she actually sent them to me before I could, because she knows I love the mountains. I like-ish camping. I'm trying to like camping. But I love the mountains, and I love hiking, and I love outdoorsy stuff. So she was like, you need these. And I was like, yeah, I was actually going to go buy them from your Etsy like today, but thank you for sending these to me complimentary. So the first one is Adventure Awaits. And she also has a Halloween set, a patriotic set, and a Christmas set. So, oh, and then she just released a Thanksgiving set, like just the other day. And they look, I haven't actually stitched any of them yet, but they look like they would stitch really, 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 really quick. And she says when she's model stitching them that they stitch up really quick. The second one is Wild and Free. Look at that bear. Can you even with that bear? By the way, the reason I can't love camping is because I'm scared to death a bear is going to like try to eat me in the middle of the night. The third one is The Mountains Are Calling, and this is probably my favorite. So, just random, like, fun tidbit. You've probably heard this phrase before, the mountains are calling and I must go. That is from the famous naturalist, I guess is what you would call them. I don't even know what you would call, but anyway, John Muir. He was an environmentalist, a traveler, a nature enthusiast. That's a quote from him. So, the mountains are calling and I must go. So that's my favorite just because like that actually is very meaningful to me and my boyfriend, and part of, not part of why we ended up in Colorado, but something that we feel like, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Something that we relate to when we think about Colorado. The mountains are calling and I must go. So, I was contacted by Sylvia. She has an Etsy. It's S Ward Designs, and I will link it below if I remember. And I know you've been seeing this on a lot of Flosstubes because Sylvia contacted a ton of us. And she said, can I send you some of my project trackers so you can like give me some feedback, let me know if there's things I should add or change, and just kind of get the word out. And so I know a lot of people have been showing these on Flosstube, but she did contact me and send some to me as well. And I absolutely love them, and I have since purchased some from her Etsy shop. So she sent me these project trackers, and I filled one out for Antonio. And they are really nice. You can buy PDFs and print your own, or you can actually have Sylvia print them for you and send them to you. And she sends them like right away. I got mine in like 2 days after I ordered them. But they're really nice because they have, she's got different ones, but the one I like is this one. And so the 2021 and 2022 are on the back. She's also got a 5-year one. But you can circle the days you work on your project to kind of just keep track of it. And then you can put this information, relevant information at the top. So she sent me some 2020s, and then she sent me a few 2021s because that's coming up real quick. So it's 2021, 2022, and 2023. But again, she has a few different kinds on her Etsy, so go check them out. She has one that's targeted more towards really big projects like Hades. She's got a 5-year. She's got just like kind of different templates for this. So I am going to use these moving forward. I'm not going to take all of my old whips and move them onto the cards because I don't remember like the days I worked on them, and that'll just drive me crazy. But for everything that I start moving forward, I will be using these cards to track. I like that I can circle or shade the days I worked on it, and just, I don't need to know that, and nobody needs to know that, but I just like it. And in a year, I can pull this out and be like, oh, look, I worked on it for 5 days in November. That's interesting. It's not really interesting, but it's interesting to me. So she sent me a few of these just to check them out. And then I placed an order from her because I did actually really, really like them a lot. And so check those out if you need a project tracker. Check them out. I ordered something from Lindy Stitches, and she sent me a little doodle. I know she does this for most people, but it still feels really special. So she sent me that. So what I ordered from her was Dumpster Fire, her new pattern. Dumpster Fire Friends Forever is what it says. And I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to be starting it really, really soon. So my friend Amy Gable Stitcher and I both like freaked out about this pattern like the second we saw it. And then I was like, I'm going to stitch it for you. And she's like, well, I'm going to stitch it for you. And so then we were like, well, this is great because we both get to stitch it. But then we both will have it too. So it's a small pattern. It should go pretty quick. And so I'm hoping to get this stitched and finished and out to Amy for Christmas. And this is just a way for us to commemorate Dumpster Fire 2020. And just, you gotta, like, your friends help you get through this stuff, right? So it's just something we both like felt compelled to do. But to make it fun, we are both keeping it a total secret from each other on what fabric and floss we're using. So I've got it kitted up. I've got it ready to go. I will show you guys, but Amy will not know until it arrives in the mail for her. She won't know what it's gonna look like. So maybe that will inspire some of you out there to stitch this for a friend. Should be a quick, fun stitch. So anyway, I got that from Lindy Stitches. I actually got that as a PDF. But while I was at her store, I did grab some Lady Dots Velveteen. This is Pepper, which is, it's just black. It's just black for finishing. And then I grabbed Lady Dots Mini Pom-Poms, or are these regular? I guess these are regular. These are regular pom-poms in the color Witchy. I have nothing in mind for these. I just liked them. I just liked them. And then Stephanie did send, she's got a new freebie. She had been, I think she'd had the little turtle with the balloon for a while, which is super cute. And now she's got this one. It's a little mouse. That's really cute. That's so cute. Okay, what else did I get? I feel like I've been talking about haul for a really long time. The Sampler Girl has an Etsy store, and she was having a random sale, I think on Veterans Day, 20% off anything in the store. And this is a pattern that I have no excuse like as to why I didn't already own it. It's like one that I've like just put off buying but have always loved. So I treated myself to one pattern. This is Alcott and Austin, a sampler for readers. And it says on the top, it's a Jane Austen quote, "I declare after all there is no enjoyment like reading." And then on the bottom is a Louisa May Alcott quote, and it's this is my favorite. It says, "She is too fond of books, and it has turned her brain." So there's that. Okay. And then the last thing to show you guys for my stitchy haul. And this is something that I know a lot of you really, really enjoy. So I had a dentist appointment, so I went to my craft thrift store. So the craft thrift store is called The Craft Box. It is in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, which is just a suburb to the west of Denver. And it is a thrift store, consignment store, basically. Except for not really, because they just like buy stuff and then resell it. So it's not quite consignment. But anyway, it's a thrift store just for crafts. They've got yarn, they've got quilt fabric, they've got beads, they've got scrapbooking, they've got stamping, they've got cross stitch, they've got all of those like crafty hobbies that we love. And everything is super duper duper cheap. And it's like you go in and you have no idea what you're gonna find. It's all just like treasure hunting. It's just treasure hunting. So I went in and I found some stuff. I found some treasures. So I found a piece of 32 count Confederate gray linen, and check this out. I have no idea how old this is, but it's from Stitchville, USA. And back then it was $6.39 for this piece of Confederate gray old linen. I found a few Threadworks flosses. Well, one is, so 3 of them are Threadworks. This one is Needle Necessities, or Necessities Ink, which to me, I don't know the whole story, but did those become Threadworks? Because they look exactly like Threadworks and they feel like Threadworks. So was it like a rebrand into Threadworks? Somebody out there knows. I bought this. This was super random, but something was calling me. It's an old Leisure Arts winged beauties, and these butterflies are just really, really detailed. And I felt like I needed it. I mean, it was like 99 cents. I was like, fine. This was quite a treasure. Some Marjolaine Bastillon Lenarte kit, unopened. What's the name? I don't think it has a name. I mean, it's not printed on here. That's weird. I feel like Lenarte does that though. So anyway, here's what it looks like. I don't know what it's called. And it comes with this really pretty like even weave. It's not Aida, it's 27 count even weave, and it's got this pretty print on it. And I got this because I have the Lenarte African Woman kit, and I started it, and it's really nice quality, and it's really nice to stitch on. So I was like, you know what? I like Lenarte kits a lot. So I got that one. Okay, so this one's funny because I've picked this up like 100 times when I'm browsing at this store, and then I always put it back. I don't ever buy it. And so I have this rule, like if something like catches my eye and I pick it up and I think about it like 3 or 4 times, then I just buy it the next time I see it. So it's Barrack Samplers Log Cabin Cat. And again, I always pick it up and put it back. I'm still not sure I'll even stitch this, but you know what? I'm obsessed with Kathy Barrack. So I felt like it needed to come home with me. It's old too. It's from 1999. And then, oh, okay. So I walked in and this was the first thing I saw. And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a good, like we're gonna find some treasures today. I know it. Like this is a good sign. So I found Waxing Moon Designs Spring House Trio, Summer House Trio, Autumn House Trio, and Winter House Trio. Oh yeah, we got the whole set. And they're really cute. And I've almost bought the autumn and the winter several times. I love the winter ones. Love them. So that's happening. Amy, look away. Amy, don't look. I'll tell you when you can look again. Amy can't look because I'm going to stitch this for Amy someday. So I'm not going to say it out loud because she'll hear me. But I think this would actually stitch really fast. This should be a quick one. This is really old too. It's from 1994. I love this. Kind of want to stitch it for myself too. Okay, Amy, you can look again. I'm pretty sure I already own these two, but I bought them anyway because I wasn't leaving them behind. Barbara Anna Christmas hair. I'm not sure, but I think I might have this. But I definitely have it now. I just might have two. And then I'm pretty sure I have this as well. Brooke's book, Cinderella. I'm pretty sure I already own this, but dang it. I just got so excited. And I bought it again. This is a fun treasure. This is With Thy Needle and Thread Springtime Social. I love that. And then I do already own this, but I bought this anyway because I just had this thought that I wanted to give this away because then you guys can experience like the thrill of finding a treasure at the craft thrift store. So this is Stacey Nash, Christmas at Hollyberry Farm, which I already own. But I'm going to give away to one of you. So if you would like to stitch this pattern, if you would like to possibly win this pattern, Stacey Nash, Christmas at Hollyberry Farm, just use the word Christmas somewhere in your comment. So then I can do a search for that word and do a random comment selector, and one of you can win this. How about that? If you've made it this far, if you're still here with me and you would like to stitch Stacey Nash, Christmas at Hollyberry Farm, leave me a comment with the word Christmas. I will, let's see, when will I draw for that? Let's say Thanksgiving. That's in about a week and 1 day. So I will draw next Thursday, Thanksgiving, and I will contact you. I'll leave a comment on your comment. And then the last cross stitch thing I found, so this is a pattern I've almost bought so many times. Rosewood Manor and a Forest Grew. It's so big, but it's so pretty. I've almost bought this many times, and always with the intention of I would definitely rechart the verse. The verse is very religious, and I don't do that. So, but I just love all of the gorgeous trees and the flora and the fauna. Like, look at those. It's just really beautiful. And now it's mine. It's finally mine. I have the biggest mess over here to my side. It's bad. Okay, so that was all the stitching that I found. But I found one other thing at the craft box. And it's not cross stitch, but then it kind of is. So there is a design company called the City Stitcher, and she has some samplers, some cross stitch samplers, but she also designs quilts. And I think at some point she kind of focused more on the quilts, but she has a website, citystitcher.com, and you can get some of her cross stitch patterns and her quilting patterns. And the craft box had this quilting pattern, which looks like an old cross stitch sampler. This is quite beyond my skill set for quilting, but I thought this could be a nice challenge for me. So maybe in 2021 I will tackle this. It's broken up into 9 parts. I think it was a quilt-along, block of the month kind of thing. But it's broken up into like manageable pieces, and I want to give it a try. I think I could learn a lot of new techniques. There's applique, hand sewing, different kind of piecing techniques, just things I haven't been brave enough to try that I think I can be brave now. And then have this really nice quilt when it's all said and done. Okay, so that's all the stitching stuff. One last thing I wanted to mention for future plans. So I was talking with my friend Victor. His Instagram is Flawed Sir. Somebody, I mentioned him, I think last video, and somebody commented and they're like, I can't find this person. How do you spell it? And I realized I maybe hadn't been very clear. Flawed, F-L-A-W-E-D, Sir, S-I-R. Flawed Sir, Victor, on Instagram. So he and I were chatting, and he said he was thinking of doing, I'm not sure, like, honestly what prompted it for him. But he was like, I want to do a stitch along. But he's like, it's going to be like the blackout Sal. We're going to stitch on black fabric or with black floss, like something where it's featuring the color black. And he's like, what do you think? And I was like, I love that idea. And Black Friday is coming up next week. So the Friday after Thanksgiving is Black Friday. And I was like, we can work with this. Let's play on this. And then I got to thinking some more, and I'm like, okay, blackout, Black Friday. And so it kind of evolved into, basically, at least for me, I don't want to speak for Victor, but for me, this stitch along that's going to happen is, stay home and stitch, and don't go out for Black Friday because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So on probably Thursday, Thanksgiving, and Friday, Black Friday, I will be parking my butt right here at home. I'm not going anywhere. No one's coming over. I'm not going to see people. They're not coming to see me. I'm staying home and I'm stitching. I'm not going out on Black Friday to shop. No way, no how. That's not happening. I don't know. Are stores even doing that this year? I honestly don't know. I'll admit I probably will get suckered into some online Black Friday deals because I always do. But basically, like, if you want to join in, if you have a project that you can stitch on that's on black fabric or that is stitched with black floss, we're going to be stitching that for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And we're just going to call it Stay Home and Stitch, and the hashtags we're going to use Stay Home and Stitch and Black Friday Sal. And I found the absolute perfect pattern in my stash. I already had this kitted up and ready to go. And at first I was just excited because I had it kitted up with this black floss. And then I realized that the actual like verse on this pattern is absolutely perfect. So this is Modern Folk Embroidery, Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler. And it says, there is nothing like staying at home for real comfort. Very fitting. Stay home and stitch, Black Friday Sal. So that's what I'm working on next week. I love this pattern. This pattern is absolutely gorgeous. That reminds me, I did have one more purchase, but I didn't print it or anything. I will insert a picture if I remember. So Modern Folk Embroidery showed their 2021 stitch along, and I am all in. I'm there. I'm doing it. So that was my other purchase. Okay, that is all the stitching. I'm going to talk about books, and then that's that. So, I'm getting tired. My throat's getting a little sore, and I'm not sure how much I even have to say about some of these books. So this may be quick. We'll see. I'm going to try to keep this brief. So in the order of things I read, first let's do Dracula, because I forgot that last time and I had finished it. So Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's a classic. I had never read it before. Never seen the movie either. Still haven't seen the movie, but I want to. But I can't find it streaming anywhere. And I don't really want to pay for it. So someday I'm going to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula. But the classic, the Bram Stoker's Dracula classic novel, I enjoyed quite a lot. I went in with no expectations. I knew it was a horror story, obviously. I knew a little bit about Dracula just from pop culture, but like I said, never even seen the movies or anything, so I really didn't know what I was getting into, or, you know, just went in with no expectations at all. I enjoyed the novel quite a lot. It did get a little long and a little bit bogged down at the end, or right before the end. But it was still very fascinating to me. So Dracula, which I had no idea, Dracula is told through in source materials, like, which are invented. Bram Stoker invented them, but it's pieced together. It's a pieced together story from journals. So there are a few people involved in interactions with Dracula, and they are keeping journals. And then, so the book is just reading their journals, basically. And I always enjoy that style of writing very much. So I think that was kind of hooked me right from the start. And then there were some just really interesting characters. So one of the main characters is a woman named Mina, and she's kind of incredible. She's in a time when women were very much, you know, just subservient and didn't have a lot of independent will or thinking. You know, they were there to serve their husbands and to be pretty and to just be demure. Mina is quite independent, very smart, like very intelligent, and she has a fiance who becomes her husband through the book. But they're more like equals than what you might expect for like that time period. So I really liked Mina. Mina was just, I mean, she was still very sweet and very kind, but really whip smart, and kind of like keeps the men like together and like in line, like kind of like is like the backbone of this group that ultimately is going to hunt Dracula. And so loved Mina. And then Professor Van Helsing was my absolute favorite. He is the cutest. So in the novel, not like the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing, but in the novel, Van Helsing is I don't think it's not Austria. Where is he from? It's on the tip of my tongue. Is he Dutch? Anyway, Van Helsing is not from England, where the other characters are from, but he's an older professor, and he has like broken English, but he's very smart. But he just has the cutest like broken English, and he says the cutest things and the cutest like turns of phrases, because he doesn't things don't always translate well, so he'll try to say something and it's just really funny and really cute the way he says it. And he's really sweet, and he loves like everybody, and he's very affectionate. And then the other main characters, a little less personality, but still interesting. So the story was interesting. It's basically like a thriller mystery. Like the whole time they're trying to figure out what's happening to their friends, what's up with this Dracula dude? And then once they figure out, I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler, Dracula is a vampire. Once they figure that out, then it becomes this mystery thriller of them trying to track down Dracula and kill him. And the book races to this conclusion. So it got really, really fun at the end because they're like racing against the clock, trying to find Dracula before it's too late, and it's like a wild like chase through the Carpathian Mountains. So that was really fun. So it ended on a high note for me. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It got long, it got a little long, I'll be honest. And it got a little tedious in the way that I was laughing because you're reading these journal entries and these people are telling you like every tiny little teeny little detail of their day. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, like really? Like, did this take you 5 hours tonight to write this journal entry? Like, what the heck? So it got a little tedious and bogged down in detail, but I did enjoy it very much. So that was Dracula. So then I read Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a young adult fantasy novel. So this came out like, I believe like right after like the Twilight craze. So this is a book about werewolves, and werewolves were very hot at that point. So this was one of like Maggie Stiefvater's like earliest, I don't want to say it's like her first, I know it's not her first series, but it was like her first like this series made her popular, made her like kind of a big name in young adult. So, however, this series I've hesitated to read because it does not get great reviews at all. Some people do like it, but it gets a lot of bad reviews. But I was like, you know what? I love Maggie Stiefvater. She wrote The Raven Boys, my favorite, one of my all-time favorite series. And I was like, I gotta know. I gotta know for myself. I did not hate it. I did not hate it. You can tell she's grown and developed a lot as a writer from this series, but it still has a lot of her lyrical, beautiful writing. I think what people did not enjoy about this series is like this weird like insta love, and I know a lot of people don't like that. And also, I think maybe I'll find this more in the second and third novel, but I hear like it's pretty bleak. Like the life of the werewolves is not great, and it's not, and I think there's maybe not a lot of end in sight or redemption. And so I definitely like stumbled upon a review somewhere where they were just like, it was awful and bleak and miserable for 3 books. So maybe that's why people don't like it. But ultimately, high schoolers in a Minnesota town, and there are wolves in the woods of this like small town, and this girl named Grace, her house like butts right up against the woods, and she for years has watched these wolves, but she's had this connection with this one particular wolf, and turns out he's a werewolf and he's her love interest, of course. But basically it's a book about werewolves. I can't really say a lot more without like spoilers. But I didn't hate it. It's not like, it's not the best, no, but I didn't hate it. It was like it's an okay, pretty good read for me. So there was that. And then I read on my Kindle, so I will try to insert a picture here. I read The Devouring Gray, and I will be honest, the author's name is totally escaping me right now, so hopefully it's on the cover that I just showed. This is another young adult fantasy. So I had purchased this like a year ago for 99 cents when Kindle was doing like a deal or something. And a few people had said they liked it. It was recommended, so I bought it. And I did like it. I'm laughing because like I've forgotten like everything. No, that's not true, but I've forgotten all their names. One of the girls is named Harper, and the rest escape me. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, I did enjoy the book, but it was a little bit forgettable, obviously. Just, it was a little bit like middle of the road for me. Not bad, but not like mind-blowing. But I do plan to read the next one. The second one is out. So I will continue the series. But basically, there's a small town, and there are some founding families who have magic, but the magic came at the cost of this beast in the woods called the Gray. And I mean, I don't know. I think we're going to find out like in subsequent books. Like, I don't know the whole backstory, but basically this town reveres the founding families because they have magic and the rest of the town does not. And they rely on these founding families to keep them safe from the Gray. But we don't really know like what the Gray wants or is all about. So I think that's going to unfold in future novels. This book reminded me so much of Mystic Falls from the Vampire Diaries, the TV show, not the books, from the TV show, The Vampire Diaries. And it doesn't feature vampires or anything like that, but just like kind of like a small town with some really weird like supernatural crap going on, and like founding families and like these legacies of people who are in these founding families. It just had that feel of Mystic Falls from Vampire Diaries. So if you are a Vampire Diaries fan, you might like this book. I liked it. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I did like it. Like I said, I've forgotten I forgot all their names. I actually do remember the plot points. Just saying. I do remember the plot. I just can't remember their names right now. So what does that tell you? I don't know. Check it out if you're intrigued. So after I read those, after I read Shiver, I felt like I needed some Maggie Stiefvater back in my life, but I picked a book that has gotten rave reviews, The Scorpio Races. This is something I was, Andrea, Stitchy Bookworm, and I have been meaning to buddy read, and actually had planned, it was like on our short list for like something we were going to read together really soon. And then we both realized, there's a famous line in this book. It is the first day of November, and so today someone will die. And so Maggie Stiefvater on November 1st posted this, and we both were like, let's read that. We were probably going to read it within the next month anyway, so we kind of just like bumped this up. So Andrea and I buddy read this novel, and we both loved this book so much. And I knew I was going to love it because I've only heard like incredible things about this book. But it exceeded expectations. So this is another young adult. I don't know that I would really call it a fantasy. It's got some fantastical elements, but it is set like in our world. It's a standalone. It's not a series. Like, this is a one and done. You can get this book and not worry about needing to read like 3 more. So it's really interesting. It's based on like Irish mythology about like these mythical murder horses, and they're called Capel Uisce in the book. And I think that might be something it's a play on, I don't think that's like in Gaelic mythology. I don't think they're called quite that, but they're called something very similar. So Capel Uisce are these horses that only appear on this certain island. And Maggie Stiefvater never quite tells you where it is, but it's very clearly like an Irish influence. So it's you know, some kind of island near off the coast of Ireland. And these horses come out of this sea, like starting in October. They just start to like kind of like wash up on the sea, but they are extremely dangerous. They're murderous. They kill people. They kill other animals. They're like these crazy murder horses. And then these crazy islanders catch them if they can and try to tame them. And if you can get them away from the sea, they are like sort of tame, but not really. Like you still have to watch them really closely because they will still kill you like in a heartbeat. But basically like you can break them, you can ride them. And then on November 1st, the island has the Scorpio Races, which is where they take these Koppel Ishka, these murder horses, and they have a race and a lot of people die. So really weird premise, I know, but the writing is absolutely beautiful. So the island is like, it's in our world, and these people are real people with like real problems. And then there's just this like weird one fantastical element of these horses that wash up out of the sea, and everybody's just like, yeah, that's like what happens, like no big deal, and just like keeps on keeping on. So it's interesting how she kind of just drops that in there. But like I said, the writing is just absolutely beautiful. So the main character, Puck, is a girl. Really, her name is Kate, but everybody calls her Puck. And she's an orphan, and she's trying to make ends meet, and things are really tight. She's about to lose the house. So she enters the Scorpio Races because there is a big fat prize if you win. So that's what drives Kate to enter. But then there is a boy called Sean, and he has won like 4 of the last 6 years of the Scorpio Races. He's like a horse whisperer. He's like everybody goes to him like for help with these murder horses whenever like one gets out of control or gets loose or whatever. Like he comes in and like saves the day. So Puck and Sean are the 2 mains, and you get their point of view. Both of them have point of views in this book. And there is a little love story. But ultimately, I mean, I can't tell you without spoilers, you know, they're both entered in the Scorpio Races, and they both have a very compelling reason that they need to win this year's race. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The book was so good, you guys. I highly recommend. 5-star read. I love Maggie Stiefvater so much. This book was beautiful. And I held it together until the very end, and damn it, she got me. I cried. Okay, what else did I read? I just one more, right? I'm double checking my list so I don't forget. Okay, so the last book I read was, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, because I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say this name. Kazuo Ishiguro. I hope that's right. This was an ebook I read on my Kindle. I will insert a picture. This is The Remains of the Day. I have read another book from this author. I've read 2 books from this author. So I've read The Berry Giant, which was super weird, but I liked a lot. And I've read Never Let Me Go, which, oh my God, that book is a heartbreaker. And that movie is so good. The book and the movie are both phenomenal. But if you want a good cry, read or watch that movie. So anyway, I enjoy this author. The Remains of the Day. I have had it on my Kindle forever. And so what I've been doing lately is like kind of just scrolling through my Kindle and trying to find like really old books that I've had on there for too long, and just finally like, I'm gonna read this thing, right? So for whatever reason, I always scrolled by this one, probably because I didn't know anything about it. So yeah, I randomly picked this book, and wow, what to say? What to say? This is a very like niche book. It was very good. The writing is beautiful. He is a fantastic writer. But I know this would not be a book for everyone. So, if you love and adore Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey, you might like this book. It's a book about a butler in an English home. It spans several decades, but it's in the same time period as Downton Abbey. So it spans like the 19 teens into the 20s and then goes further. It was hard. It started out real rough because this man it's told in like first person narrator. His whole life has been devoted to being a butler and being a really good butler, but that's like all he lives and breathes. So the first part of the book is just like, here's what makes a good butler and why, and it's just like this like essay about butlers, and you're like, okie dokie. It does finally pick up. There actually like a plot actually develops, but it definitely had its moments of like, I was like, I might not be able to keep up with, like, I might have to let this one go. And I don't do that. Like, if I start a book, I finish that book. It is very rare for me to ditch a book. And I almost did with this one because it started out really rough. It did get better. Like I said, it's written absolutely beautifully, but it's a book about a butler, and that is it. Like, a lot, everything you ever needed to know about butlers. But ultimately it ends with him kind of looking back on his life, and maybe looking back with a little bit of regret, a little bit of melancholy, a little bit of like, what if, you know, he has devoted himself to being this butler, so he never had a family. He never had a wife. He never did more with his life, other than his job. So, it ends a little bit bittersweet. But yeah, like I said, hard to like recommend it. It wasn't bad. It was good. It was just, it was something. It was difficult. The first half was difficult, and then it definitely got a lot better. It is a short book, so that helped too. Like, I knew it wasn't going to go on forever and ever. I knew there was an end. There was an end in sight. But again, the whole time I read it, I pictured Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey, the butler from Downton Abbey. So if he's your dude, you might like Remains of the Day. All right, that's all I got today. If you made it this far, and I know some of you did because you tell me that you did. I know some of you made it all the way, but if you've listened this long, thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.